So, today, IShowSpeed visited my country, Latvia, and I just wanted to make a video giving my thoughts and opinion on this whole shebang. Now, he did a stream today where he visits, he's still doing the stream, basically where he's visiting the Baltic states. Now, if you don't know where those are up in Eastern Europe. Now, if you don't know where Europe is, go get a map. And basically, he came here, on his private jet. He was like, yo, what's up? And he got the most royal welcome ever. Like this dude shows up. We got like Latvia's minister of I think we were like economy, like just there greeting him. He got a presidential goddamn escort. Bro just shows up, gets a van, two police cars, front and end, I think it was, and just gets escorted around the city of Riga, which is the capital city of Latvia. And I'm a person who I do respect IShowSpeed in terms of him just doing a lot of great things. Like I think he's just a very fun character who has the ability to just show up to a place and be, a fun guy. Like he never shows up and he's like an annoyance. He's always like, he shows up and he's like, like everybody just want to kind of hang out with him basically. So, he came up, he pulls up to this country and they start driving. He meets all the people and they start driving from Riga airport down to the from I think it was the central market. And basically he was literally driving down roads I've been down. It's so cool to think about because I live in a small country, so I don't really get to be in places that are necessarily very popular. Like people in New York, for example, or LA, they're used to, their city being on the big screen all the time or, being shared in millions of screens. Not me, not us. Our country is pretty small. So if we do get mentioned or even noticed, it's a pretty big deal. So what do I think about this whole, speed thing? Now, our country, Latvia, for, the past year, 2 years or so, has actually been getting more and more popular, mainly because we made an Oscar-worthy movie. If you don't know Flow, which is, the movie actually did pretty damn well. And that also got us, pretty much on the stage. Like, people are like, oh, Latvia? Huh, that's a country. and so that's pretty cool. So we have been getting recognition for a little bit. And, so IShowSpeed, he pulls up and he starts, touring kind of the main city of Riga, which I do think it would be also pretty cool if he, came back here and toured the other cities because they do like Latvia is not just Riga. Like it's Riga is a big part, but Riga is much more, how do I put this, sterilized from Latvian culture. I will be honest. I think that's very true because like if you go to a place like we have this place Riga, it's pretty much like New York, in terms of like how it feels to exist there. But if you go to, a bit more like local, a smaller town, like for example, it's still a big city, Ventspils or, Liepāja, these cities are still, cities, but they're much more local and they have much more personality. So I think, and it also gives Speed more kind of ideas. So basically, he doesn't run out of countries. He can still come back and do some more tours basically. So that's one thing. One thing I really like that he did notice is whenever he was flying in, he was like, "Hey, y'all have a lot of forests here. Y'all, you guys have like, why is there so much green here?" And later, the minister literally told him, like, yeah, like more than 50% of our country is actually forests, greenery. So we're pretty proud of that, which we are. Like, I mean, if you go to school in Latvia, every goddamn biology teacher is going to be, did y'all know, kids, that our country is the greenest country in the world, or something like that. I think it's the greenest country in Europe, not the world, but I think it could also be the world. But I like that he noticed that. And he was driving too. One thing that I found funny that he said, he was like, this place is giving Ohio vibes. So that's not gonna. People are gonna start calling Latvia or Riga, Ohio, because that whole thing has a meme associated with it. He rolls up, he goes through the market, he tries some of our beverages, and foods, which I really liked. He tried the fish, and I like one guy saying that we eat those fish, every day, which I bet some Latvians do, but personally, I do not eat fish. Like I'm probably the only Latvian who hates fish. But he did try one of my favorite beverages, which is kvass. Now, this beverage is it's like root beer. I think it's like root beer, but I think it's also not. But it's basically a alcoholic type beverage. It's like our national Coca-Cola. And the squash is just I love it. Like whenever we have it, like I have it, it's just I just drink the whole thing. Like I can't hold it back. It's just too damn tasty. Plus, it doesn't have too many harmful things, and it's very like kind of natural. It's like through the same process like bread is made, but it's slightly different as to not contain any alcohol. But it can be visually mistaken for alcohol. Beer, stuff like that. So he tried that. Whenever he tried, it was just so spectacular seeing his face because he was like, "Hey, yo, this is actually pretty damn good. Like you guys, y'all cooking." I really like whenever he got the blood sausage because that's one of the most delicious sausages that us Latvians have. And it's like he was like blood, which is like whenever you realize that the sausage is actually just made from pure blood, it's pretty freaky to think, but I mean, we do like humans do eat animals, so eating a blood sausage is not that weird. But that was pretty fun. I did really find it very funny whenever he went to the park and started making bread and planting the tree, which was it was pretty like people say he like you plant a tree, but like all he did was like pick it up, put it in the ground, kind of pat it with the shovel, and that's it. Which is like obviously, what else do you expect? Like, he's not going to spend like 3 hours actually getting a tree, planting it, making a sign and stuff like that. But it was, it's pretty cool that at least now we have a tree that we know like he touched or something, which is it's pretty goofy to be honest. But then he went to the kind of central part of the city, the old city. Went near the church and onto this place. He did a song. He went also to the place where we have the Statue of Freedom. I think that's what how you say it in English. And a memorial, Freedom Memorial. That's how exactly. And this Freedom Memorial, basically, that was pretty fun. I saw the amount of people there. I was blown away. He met our ex-president, which is really cool. I saw a lot of people. I think he forgot to sign something for that president, so people in the chat were like, L, like L speed, sign like disrespect. But then he met up with him back at the airport, which was pretty fun. But like, I was really astonished that he had so much governmental and official support. Like all of the government people and the news people showed up and were like, I saw he was going through the stairwell, and literally our main news channel was giving him an interview. Because I remember whenever he did like his earlier streams in like the Netherlands, he was like, like not really. How do I put this? Like nobody was like really interviewing him or giving him attention like that. Like he always had like his bodyguards, but never like a government official or like police support. Like I remember in his Netherlands, whenever he got cornered, they had to call the police. Here he already had the police, which is, I mean, I guess expected after like a few months or like a year. It has been already. You kind of realize that you do need like official support. You can't just show up to a country and like just get swarmed and cause chaos and not be responsible for the chaos. I think that there was a big problem where one streamer or YouTuber showed up and like there were so many fans, they started wrecking everything, and because the streamer hadn't like given any notice or anything like that, he got into a lot of trouble. So that's kind of it's good that he has that kind of official support, which is good. I think he's more of like a diplomat general because he comes to countries and he gives a good impression of himself in general. I think he can be viewed by some people as like annoying or like why do people like hear about this guy, or like I've seen a few Latvians Also, whenever I show this to a few relatives of mine, they're like, "Okay, like what does he do? Like why do people bow to him and stuff like that?" Which can be a little bit confusing. But in general, it's a good diplomatic impression. Like there are a lot of IRL streamers who come to other countries and just start wrecking. Like those IRL streamers who went to Japan and just started disrespecting the country. So at least this guy is doing everything first of all legally, like properly. Like he doesn't you know like he's in good relationship with the governments, which is always a good thing, right? It makes people more kind of happy about everything. So yeah, so that's kind of the whole situation of Latvia and this whole thing. And in my opinion, I think that this is just a very good thing that happened today. Whenever I woke up today and I opened YouTube and I realized that he's here and he's gonna be coming here. I kind of wanted to go also and meet him, but I realized first of all it's gonna be a headache to go through the city and stuff like that. Plus, like I will be amongst thousands of kids, so people my age. So the chances of meeting him are just gonna be impossible and probably not gonna end too well. But I mean, I guess I could have gone, but I didn't. I just watched the stream and then did my own stream. He got me inspired to do my own thing. So that's kind of on that. And I think personally, I'm just really glad to see him come to this country to actually record places where I've been physically, which is it's really cool to think about. You see all these people on screen, and you think you're never gonna meet them, or like at least see them be in the place you have been. It's like it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's a weird feeling that people, as I said, who live in New York and such places, or other popular cities, they know what that's like. But us who have not been in many places and have are just got out of the USSR, out of oppression, we really appreciate all the good publicity, and I think it's only kind of eventual, right? Like people recognize free democratic countries and come to them, because whenever you're in like a dictatorship in the USSR, nobody's going to come to you, nobody knows about you. But then we got out of that situation, and here we are 30 years later, and a lot of people do know that our country exists, and that it's kind of good. Now, I'm not a huge patriot, I will be honest. I not care much for like patriotism and huge nationality, but as a person who lives here and does appreciate this country for for what it is, because there are definitely much worse countries out there. I am really happy that my country is getting a lot of recognition in the past few years, and that and from at least what I understood, like whenever he was sitting in the car, he also said, yeah, you can feel that this is the fans, they're not like evil like in the Netherlands. When he was like, oh my god, bro, he said that yeah, this is like actually like love. It's like actually he was, from what I understood, he was very happy about this trip to at least Latvia. He had good impressions, and I think we gave him a very good tour of the main things. At least they planned a good tour, and everything. Kind of the main main things he could do, he did do, and that's very fun. I really really appreciate it. I think the guy who gave him those two card packs was actually one of our famous rappers. Latvia, I think he was that guy, but I really don't follow Latvian music, so I really don't know. But I do know he's kind of like a celebrity. So basically, I saw like in his stream, we saw all of the Latvian celebrities or like known people, kind of. Not all of them, obviously, but I think quite a fair share of them. So yeah, so I'm really happy that this happened. Obviously, very grateful for this. So yeah, so thank you, Speed, for coming here. Hope you do come here again. I hope you visit the more local towns, and maybe go on a trip through a forest or something like that, or a park maybe, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really happy that at least he went to our country, saw it, and literally we have this guy mentioned on the national news as well. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, live long and prosper. Goodbye.